hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Social Zee Franchisee Happy Hour. I'm the host, Calvin Smith, as usual, and I'm very excited to talk to Mr. Andre, who's actually right down the road from us. I don't know how we didn't coordinate getting him here into the office, but it's all right. We'll do that next time. But Andre is joining me from Destin, Florida as well, and we're so excited to have him. Andre, how are you, and how's your new year been?
All right, thank you for having me, Calvin. My New Year's been good so far. Thank you for asking. It's a pleasure being here with you, and I'd love to share my journey with you and your viewers or
Yeah.
your subscribers.
Yeah, we're excited to get to talk to you, Andre. To kick us off, I think what would be an interesting, conversation starter was just, tell us about your path to getting to Destin, Florida. Where are you from? What's been your journey up to this point before you got here and you started all the different businesses you have.
All right, so again, my name is Andre Latouche, and I was born in Kingston, Jamaica, and that's where I spent most of my life. I was in music prior to being here. Um, so now I migrated to the US. I've been here for 8 years, a better part of 8 years, going on 9 years, where I worked with UPS. The kicker about it is I'm still working with UPS, even though I own multiple franchise. So I'm still with UPS at the moment, and somewhere along the line, I decided I wanted to own something. I wanted to work on owning something so that my family could be a part of it. So that's how I got into looking into Destin and franchising, and I ended up with Lenny's Grill and Sub, and it's been a great journey. It's been a long road, but we made it.
Absolutely, absolutely. And Andre, did you come straight from Kingston to Destin, or what was your path to landing in Northwest Florida?
Okay, so what that was, I came from Kingston to New York, and I started working with UPS, and I've been working with them since. But my wife, which is now my wife, girlfriend at the time, she introduced me to Destin. So that's how I got in touch with Destin. We bought a property out there, and then I said, you know what? I think when I'm through with New York, because I'm in New York now, I would just retire in Destin. So I was kind of looking out for something to do in Destin, and I said, you know what? I don't think I should go back on payroll or working with someone. So that's how I came up with the whole franchise, and Lenny's again was there for us.
Sure, sure. And do I understand correctly? Did you do university in New York as well at Monroe, Andre? Is that right?
Uh, no, not in New York. I
Okay.
went to, I did Edamame College back in Jamaica, but that's as far as it went with college. As I said before, I did music for a little bit, for the
Sure,
better half of
sure.
my life.
Okay. And so you're at UPS in New York. Your wife
hmm
introduced you to Destin,
hmm
and obviously, Destin's warmer. It's not quite as beautiful as Jamaica, but it's for the continental U.S. It's a pretty good place. Um, and so talk about how the conversation went with your wife, and how did you end up owning franchises in Destin, Florida, being in New York. I mean it's a big jump going from Kingston to New York and then all the way back down to Destin. So
To
share
Destin.
more about that and how that took place. Yeah.
All right, Calvin. So 3 years ago, when this whole journey started, because at first when I was working with UPS, it was a dream job. It was a job to have. So 3 years ago, I made a bet with my wife. I said, if you'd sacrifice everything that I'm about to tell you, I'll give you a comfortable life. And she said, so what was that? I said, you would have to sacrifice a lot of stuff like going out, eating out, a newer car, the vacation. And she said, okay, she'll sacrifice everything. So that's where I started to educate myself by getting with these guys from acquisition.com, because I realized that starting a business would be the longest way. So I said, you know what, let me start with these guys at Acquisition. Um, and figure out how to buy a business instead of starting a whole entire business. So
Absolutely.
within that 3 year process, so I went into educating myself about buying a business and what it is and the road or the journey, and also you get to meet a lot of people on the same path as in trying to buy a business also. So with acquisition, that's what happened, and we went from there to just looking around Destin because I bought a house in Destin before even looking for a franchise or before even looking for to start a business. So that's how it went from New York back to Destin, as in looking for franchise.
So it's very interesting to hear you talk about entrepreneurship through acquisition, Andre. And I've started and sold multiple businesses, and all the businesses I own now, I've actually started myself. But I tell everyone that I talk to never start a business and to just buy an existing one. It's the much smarter way to do it. And congratulations to you for figuring that out earlier on. So you mentioned, you started talking to some folks at acquisition.com, and what was that conversation like? And, what was the things that you were looking for in an acquisition, and what ultimately had you landing on Lenny's subs?
All right. So initially when I started out, I had no idea as to what I was looking at or what I was getting into. So the first I first started out with looking at laundromats because I figured that I could do a laundromat and still be at UPS, because remember, I was trying to leave UPS into something that was already moving. You understand what I mean? So I started looking at laundromats here in New York, and I realized that laundromat is not necessarily as easy to acquire as let's say a mom and pop's business. So I went from basically using laundromat to just looking at anything and everything, looking at every industry, and then we started zeroing it down, and then we decided, you know what, let's just leave New York entirely and just focus on Florida. And Destin is pretty small, and it's mostly tourist based, so you wouldn't find a lot of the stuff that you'll find here in New York in Destin. So there wasn't a lot for sale. And then once we got in touch with a few brokers and we figure out what's there, or what we could manage, or what we had the knowledge to basically operate, then we started to really get into the groove. Okay, so now we're getting to the restaurant industry, and it was easy from there, because the minute we started looking at the Lenny's way, we know that, okay, this is definitely us. Basically, what the business stands for in terms of we open at 10:30 a.m. So that means if you have kids, you could actually get your kids together, get them ready for school, drop them at school, and be at the workplace in order to open. You understand what I mean? And then we close at 9. So that would still work perfect, because now you could get the kids home, get their homework done, and I'll be home for dinner. So the whole methodology of the Lenny's way, it worked out perfect.
That's great. And I know you own multiple locations now, Andre.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw an article about the location you opened in Fort Walton as well. Did you
Mm-hmm.
when you purchased the area here, did you buy just one location and grow from there, or did you buy multiple ones, or what was that like?
All right, so that story is interesting too. All right, so with that, we first started with the one in Marietta, and I remember 2 weeks after closing, I jumped on the phone with the with the owner for the one in Fort Walton. Just to introduce myself, because that's what franchise is about. You could actually call up just about anybody, and you could talk with anyone. So I jumped on the phone 2 weeks after closing, and I just introduced myself, and let them know that, okay, we're the new owners, and we're 15 minutes away from you, and we would like to have lunch one day, or just to know each other and meet each other. And at the end of the conversation, I remember saying, But if at any time you ever think I'm exiting, let me be the first person you call if you're thinking on or planning on exiting. And 6 months after, we own the second restaurant. So so it took me 6 months between owning the first one and the second one. Yeah.
Okay. Awesome. Awesome. And what's the plan from here, Andre? Is there a vision for 10, 20 locations? Are you gonna
Yes,
looking at other
absolutely.
businesses or yeah, yeah.
We just
Okay.
continue with the
Okay.
Lenny's brand. So we're looking at
Sure.
Destin. As a matter of fact, a third one is on the way, and that would be in Destin. So we're looking forward to that. And then we're just going to keep growing. We're looking at Niceville also, and just because it's good. And I want it to, and the thing is, Lenny's is also a community restaurant. It's somewhere where the fire station comes. It's somewhere where the air base people, guys come, and we know these guys. These guys knows us. These guys know us, and that's how I want it to be. The UPS guy could always come, have a clean bathroom to use. The post office guy could always come, refill his ice, get a cool down when it's 98 outside, and that's what we want to see, and that's what we love, and that's what we want to keep it.
Absolutely, absolutely. So let's talk a little bit more about the transition for you personally. So you bought the locations in New York. What is your day like? What where do you spend your time?
All right. So yes, my wife is currently working um, with both stores. She runs the day to day there. I'm basically the one on the phone, or at night I'm the one on the computer. So we have a really good team of guys, which allows me to stay here in New York. I'm guessing once we get to store number 3 or 4, it's going to be a little bit too much. That's when I really have to transition out of New York. But at the moment, she's doing a incredible job. She and the team doing an incredible job.
All right. Now, Andre, you mentioned, now that you're still in New York, your wife is running the business here in Northwest Florida, the businesses here in Northwest Florida. What's that dynamic been like for you two? And I've spent years working with my wife as well, and I know that it can be a roller coaster sometimes. How's that been, and what have you learned as far as positives and negatives and things that work for just a family routine and working together?
All right, so it's a little tough. It gets a little tough at times because of the distance, but it's also a lot of flights. It's a lot of flights. It's a lot of communicating. It's a lot of on the phone. It's a lot of texting. It's a lot of video calling. But it will get to you if you're not following up each day, if you're not checking in every hour, maybe every 2 hours, if you're not reading the emails, but it's working right now. But as I said before, once we start going over a certain amount of stores, then the New York, Florida lifestyle, we're gonna have to do a part with that.
Sure. Hopefully you can come down and enjoy the warmer winters as well, for sure. For sure. One thing I'm curious about Andre is, we talked about your journey from Kingston to New York, and then your wife and your businesses are down here in Florida now. You know, what's been your personal growth? Obviously, we were talking offline. You started as a helper in UPS in New York and learning that, and
Hmm.
now you're a multiple business owner. What have you personally seen as the biggest growth for you, and where have you maybe struggled a little bit, where you've had to focus some time and say, hey, I need to, Andre, need to get better at these things. What's that journey been like?
Hmm. All right. So it started with, when I first came here. I came here with the burning desire to be successful, and I wanted to be a UPS driver so bad. So what I did was I started as a helper, because it's very different driving in Jamaica and driving here, because one, you're driving on the opposite side. You don't know what's a parkway. You're not familiar with a ramp. You know, So and then driving a commercial vehicle. So it took some time to get started. But after getting started, after working with UPS, they called me back and offered a job as a driver. Working as a driver for a couple of years, I realized that it got to be more than just driving. So that's how I started looking into you know opening or running my own business, or just have something that belongs to me. You know. So
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. And one thing I know about the Northwest Florida area, and I'm just curious with your background of being from Kingston, have you been able to use your position as a business owner and an entrepreneur to also help other people from Jamaica find employment when they're here in Northwest Florida? Like there seems to be a lot of people here in Destin, particularly on like the J1 visas and things like that, to be able to come here and work and find opportunities. Is that something that you've been able to reach back out to your community from where you live and create some opportunities there? Or?
all right. Well, absolutely. That in the future that will definitely be a part of our plan. Reaching back to Jamaica or any Caribbean island, for example. And, kids that coming out of college or on a summer break that's looking for a summer job. We will definitely want to get into that where we could not only give an opportunity to come and just work and see beautiful Florida or beautiful Destin or Fort Walton or whatever it is, but we will definitely look into doing something like that, and also housing too. It would be a great opportunity to give housing to some of these students also that could come and be a part of Destin or be a part of Florida, Fort Walton, Niceville, wherever it is, and work and enjoy, and also so definitely, Calvin, that's a good question. Definitely, we would definitely look into doing that.
Absolutely. Andre, what's the thing that you're working on right now to improve yourself as an entrepreneur? Where do you see some areas where hey, if you develop a new skill, you learn something new, it's going to make you that much better. Where's your personal development time going?
All right. Well, apart from the acquisition part of it, because starting out 2 years ago when I knew nothing about acquiring a business, the acquisition part of it, I still want to dive deeper into that. But apart from acquiring more stores, I also want to get into to just learning people some more, learning how to be accessible for people, learning how to be how to be the type of person that always want to help or offer roads or open doors for people that needs these help. And as we just talked about the J1. There's also a H2B. That's a different type of visa. This is more the adult program. So not only for students but also for the adults, and just dive a little bit deeper into that, figuring out the roads and meeting the people that could actually help me towards that. And then and lastly, going for mentors. For I'm looking at doing the mentorship thing now. 2 years ago, I knew nothing about mentorship, but absolutely looking at mentoring. At this level, you would want to find someone that's successful, and see if you could get a little more from them.
Andre, what an amazing story. 8 years ago, you were leaving Kingston to go to New York, and who would have thought in that amount of time you would build a career there and then also own property and businesses in Florida. I mean, what a journey. And you mentioned the mentorship program. I can imagine there's a lot of young folks in Kingston and other places that could use the guidance and just a role model to say, hey, this can be done and there is more opportunity out there. So congratulations on that. That's amazing, man. Well, really well done. Last couple questions I have for you, Andre, and I'll let you enjoy your evening. You mentioned your early career was in music. What was, what did you play instruments? Were you in a band? Like, what was the music career, and do you still do that as during your part time or?
All right. For music, I started out in music very, very, very early. Um, I played mostly drums or sometimes percussion, and I go anywhere from just recording to touring. I did a lot of touring. I also I did a lot of recording also. But I, I still play music. There was I had a show in Florida. I would say a few months ago, and it was good. It was a little weird at first getting back into it, but it's just like riding a bike, you know. You definitely get back into it, but I've not necessarily played music that much anymore, because there's a lot to do in my day in 24 hours. So I don't get a lot of time to
Absolutely.
focus on music.
Absolutely. Yeah, you're a busy man with a full-time career and multiple businesses and growing and family and everything else. Well, hopefully next time you're in the Northwest Florida area and you're going to perform, you would let us know so we can come check that out. That we'd love to see that. Last question I have for you, Andre, is what's the plan for 2023? What are you focusing on right now going into the first part of the year? And if we could talk again in next January, what would be the one thing that you hope you really accomplish during this year that could make it feel like a success?
All right, so we just acquired the second store, so we're looking at basically reaching out back to the community to let them know that, okay, we're under new management, and see if we could fix some relationship if any was broken, and start some new ones. So we're looking at doing that, reaching out back into the community, being a part of the community, being the face that for that store. So that would definitely be what we're going to work on right now. Remodeling that store also. I want to get a new look in that store. So we're looking at the remodeling of the store. So after fixing the store and fixing the community, we're looking at definitely Destin on that third location. So we're going to take the 2023 to focus on how we're going to get into Destin and just reuniting with Destin. And also closing out 2023, what I wanted to do is focus on Niceville for 2024, 2025, thereabout. But basically, just keep growing the brand. I love Lenny's. I love what they stand for. I love the food, and I love that the fact that there's nothing fried, and I'm a guy that's always on the road, and you're trying to look for something that's healthy to eat. So the fact that there's nothing fried and it's good food. I want to keep growing that brand. I want to keep reaching out to people. I want to keep reaching out to the community because it's just more than food. We're the guys that's going to be at the soccer game. We're the guys in the elementary school. We're the guys at the military base. So it's just being a part. And just before I go, I had to laugh a little bit because I had to fly so often that the crew members start to recognize me. So, that's the UPS guy.
Yeah.
So just to, I love the fact that I'm recognized as the UPS guy between New York and landing in Florida. So it's a good journey.
Absolutely. Well, Andre, again, thank you so much for your time and congratulations, man. You should be extremely proud of what you've accomplished so far, and I'm excited to see you come to Destin and Niceville and in the coming year, and hopefully when you're down here sometime we can meet in person. And again, I may hold you to playing the drums somewhere so we can hear you perform as well. But thank you again. Yeah, thank you again. We really, really appreciate it. And, we hope you talk to us again this time next year.
Thank you. Our pleasure. Thank you.